Freestyle Friday, SDH AM. You know what that means? It means we start the show off one way and one way only. Hit it.
Come on, man. Go for it, dude.
It's Friday. Friday. Day.
SDH AM, John here, you there. Thanks for coming by to wrap up another week. And it's wrapping up another week, but starting another weekend. So we preview anything and everything that we can get our hands on. We'll go through the juice boxes in Major League Soccer. We'll talk about Atlanta United. If you missed the interview that we had with our friends at Footy Prime, based up in Toronto, James Charman and Craig Forrest, that is up on the network. You can scrub the YouTube channel and go into yesterday's show about 30 minutes in. You can listen to the show in and of itself also, and the segments will be chopped up, and you can hear them a little later on today as well. So we've got MLS to get into. Evan Weston from Apple TV is going to be joining us at 10 o'clock. He's going to be giving his preview of what's going on this weekend. Morning, Abby. And Evan has been a part of the chaos that has gone on recently in Major League Soccer. And I'm talking travel, I'm talking booth, I'm talking matches. So we get to catch up with Evan on a bunch of different chaos things, and he might be the master chaotician of Apple TV. But we'll catch up with Evan coming up at 10 o'clock. We'll find out what's on his mind. And the updates that we have, obviously, we've got everything Major League Soccer to get into. We've got economics to get into with the 50 most valuable list that came out from our friends at Sportico. We are efforting Kurt Badenhausen for a visit next week so we can break all this stuff down. And there are some interesting numbers in there. So we'll go over that. We have our I feel like there has to be like a special open at this point. There's got to be like a John Texter update with all of the reverb and all of the deep voice and all that kind of stuff. So we have economics, both good and bad, to get into this morning. And like I said, all of the weekend preview stuff. Remember and reminder, 10 to noon, Red Clay Friday, and we get to visit with Ben Hudson from Hart County. They are in a piece of history. They are in a round of history up at Hart County. They are having their first ever home matches for their program on both the boys and girls side. One yesterday, one today. We'll get his feedback on what happened yesterday. We'll get his feedback on what he thinks about what's going to happen today. Had a lot of activity last night, and so we'll go over that in high school. So that'll lead us up to 12:30, and Ben Hudson will join us at 12:30, and that'll put a bow on our activity for high school for the week. We are looking at our matchups for next week. We'll let you know when we know. We've got one that we've definitely earmarked on Wednesday, and we'll let you know if we can. We'll let you know when we can say that it's okay that we're doing this particular match. But we've earmarked one on Wednesday. We got to reach out to the school, looking for one for Tuesday, and so we'll try to pin it all down for you when it comes to that. But Red Clay Friday, presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente, that's going to happen at noon. Might get into the high school game a little bit and here in this show, but this show is going to be all the professional stuff. It's going to be a lifetime ban in indoor, and we have the play-by-play of the play that happened, and it was at the end of game number 1 of the Ron Newman Cup. And so because of that, you have an indefinite ban of a player. And so we'll get into that this morning. But like I said, we got some news, and Abby sent a really cool note. It might be a part of opening kickoff having to do with a sports bar here in town, finding a legit, just a lockdown home finally. So they've got that note. And once again, they tip to Abby. Oh, what shirt am I wearing? Okay. So actually, well, let me do it two ways. So this is the jacket that I have these days. And so sometimes I'll wear this. I'll I'll wear my zip up. And so it is, I don't know if you've seen this particular, this might be opening kickoff. Shoot, why not? All right, opening kickoff brought to us by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. So as I look for my copy here, start your day with the most important stories in the game, the right way to start your morning. Black Pitch Coffee, part of the SDH community, showing up at events all over Atlanta. Try their home blend made with beans from Brazil and Guatemala, heavy body, notes of walnut and semi-sweet chocolate, and a rich world-class finish. Opening kickoff, powered by Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. And this is a part of the basically the You Are Enough campaign. And so basically, here's the front, and the back is, let me see if I can straighten it out here for you. But basically, here's what it says. Basically, the world is better with you in it. The person who is walking in front of you, letting the person behind them know. So basically, that's what this is. It's the person behind me is better with the world with you in it. So there you go. That's the jacket, and the shirt that I decided to wear today is Uvalde High School, and so it's Uvalde High School with what has been going on over there the last couple of years. So it's just a way to perpetually remember. So that's the kind of mood I was in today. So Uvalde High Soccer and You Are Enough. So that's what we're up to today. That's kind of opening kickoff, and it might be like the full first half hour because there's a lot to get into. Opening kickoff, starting your day with the most important stories in the game. Right way to start your morning. Black Pitch Coffee, blackpitchcoffee.com. And it is part of the SDH community. Showing up at events all over Atlanta. Try their home blend made with beans from Brazil and Guatemala, heavy bodied notes of walnut and semi-sweet chocolate, and a rich world-class finish. Opening kickoff, powered by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. Okay, so a couple of news and notes here before we kind of get off and running. Abby sent this in, and it's a local piece of news. So it's news on Jolene. And they started in Pullman Yards. Now they're going to move to the former site of the Argonaut restaurant in the Kirkwood neighborhood. So they finally have a home. And Channel 46 caught up with Chelsea Fishman. And so Jolene Women's Sports Bar, they now have an actual lockdown home in the Kirkwood neighborhood of the former Argonaut restaurant. And so you've had more than 100 pop-up events at local breweries and bars. And so now Jolene has a home. Current Argonaut owners are going to stay on for a while to help with the transition, hoping to open quickly and aiming for this World Cup thing that we keep talking about. So Jolene has a home in Kirkwood. So very, very cool stuff there. I saw this, and I didn't know that, that I had kind of forgotten that the indoor league was in their championship series, and it is the MASL, and they have several different divisions, and their top division, the San Diego Sockers, who a lot of us grew up with in the 80s and 90s from the MISL, the major indoor. It is now the MASL, which is the lead league for indoor soccer. And so they were at match number 1, and they were at Panther Arena in Milwaukee on the campus of UWM. And San Diego is now 1 win away from their 17th Arena League title, indoor title. And this happened at the end of the match, and things kind of got out of hand. So this is the short version of what happened in the end of match number 1, Milwaukee Waves, San Diego Sockers, courtesy of our friends at MASL TV, and it kind of got out of hand.
So a little post-game revelry going on here. Oh, Stefan Mijatovic reacting to the crowd behind the goal. In the door, the Sockers go to their locker room. Some of the fans, I think, were throwing something. And, of course, Mijatovic is so beloved here by the fans. Hopefully they got security down there.
Oh, now things are being thrown. Wow.
Sockers not very happy. I don't blame them.
No,
the fans are throwing stuff down there. And Coach Marcio Leite making sure none of the away players are further involved with the Sockers after this. Well, this will probably ramp up emotions a bit for Game 2 Friday nights out in San Diego. But this was a good one here tonight until until the very end.
And that was one of the bigger undersells that you could have in the booth. So that was at the end of the match. San Diego wins match number 1 in the MASL final. And you have a coming together. And I think there was like 2 seconds left, and then the officials were just like, yeah, forget it. So Milwaukee players are there near their exit. And San Diego and Milwaukee players are having a coming together. And according to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, one of the Milwaukee players was greeted with a kick to right through the uprights. And that kind of started a bit of a brawl. So because of this brawl, match is over. It's a 2-goal lead, I think, with 2 seconds to go. You get into a brawl, and they're trying to separate the players. And as the Milwaukee players are going out of the San Diego players are leaving the field itself, they have to go out a door, and they have to walk unprotected. I mean, there's no overhang or anything for about 15 yards before they're under the they're inside the stadium itself, inside the arena itself. And so as they're walking, as they're leaving the field of play and heading toward their exit, fans are throwing things. And there was one guy that threw like a full bottle of something, and he ends up throwing it at the players. And he's, high above them, and he flexes. Like he throws this full bottle of whatever, then he flexes. And so the MASL has decided, and this is what they decided here. So the MASL, this is from their review of the evidence. Disciplinary review and the MASL Office of the Commissioner have evaluated the post-game confrontations involving San Diego, Milwaukee, and spectators at UW Milwaukee Panther Arena. So here's the following disciplinary actions. You heard the one name in particular mentioned by the play-by-play crew for MASL TV, Stefan Mijatovic, permanently expelled from the Major Arena Soccer League for severe and violent conduct. Banned from all MASL activities and facilities. This action reflects a direct violation of his zero-tolerance probation status. Luis Morales gets a 1-game suspension, fined an undisclosed amount for severe and violent conduct. Jesus Pacheco, same thing. Sebastian Mendez got a fine. Tavoy Morgan got a fine while on disciplinary probation. Cesar Cerda gets a 1-game suspension and a fine following a red card for severe and violent conduct. Upon formal review, the appeal to rescind the red has been denied. Decision did not meet the threshold of clear and obvious error. Paragraph. In addition, the Office of the Commissioner has issued a fine of an undisclosed amount to both the Wave and the Soccer's organizations for failure to maintain proper bench and post-game decorum, actions deemed conduct detrimental to the league. You heard in the play-by-play call, the coach of Milwaukee goes on the PA, and he says, Milwaukee Wave players back to the locker room. The MASL maintains a strict standard regarding player, staff, and spectator safety. The release continues. Any escalation involving physical confrontation, particularly in post-game environments, will be met with immediate and significant disciplinary action. The league's investigation into fan involvement is ongoing and will be pursued to its full extent. The MASL, in coordination with both clubs, Wisconsin Center District Security, Panther Arena Security, the Wave's head of security, and local law enforcement, is actively working to identify all individuals responsible. Any spectator found to have engaged in or contributed to these incidents will face indefinite bans from all MASL events and from UW Milwaukee Panther Arena, and will be subject to referral to arena management and local authorities for further action, including potential legal consequences. Full cooperation in identifying those responsible, regardless of team affiliation, is expected. The league reserves the right to impose additional discipline as the investigation continues. So tonight is Game 2 in San Diego for those of you that will be home. And if you wish to dial it up on MASL TV, I think on their YouTube channel, So it's a late night in San Diego. Game 2, San Diego once again 1 win away from their 17th indoor championship. And it might be shorthanded for both teams considering what happened at the end of the match. But yeah, Stefan Mijatovic, a permanent lifetime ban from the Major Arena Soccer League because of what happened at the end of match number 1. So, yeah, that was that was intriguing to say the very least. And the undersell by the play-by-play crew, it was also rather interesting. But yeah, so that's sometimes that's what happens in the lower divisions, and you have moments like this. But yeah, if you go and see the video, and it's on YouTube, they haven't restricted viewing or anything like that. You'll see as the soccer's players are leaving the field of play and heading down. It's not even really a grass mat. Literally, you walk out of the field, and then they open the doors, kind of like it's a hockey arena look, and they open the dasher boards. Players go walking through for San Diego, and literally you have Milwaukee fans kind of looking above them, and then the one guy literally takes this full bottle of something, and he just throws it. And then he goes like this. And, I mean, he was a large gentleman, don't get me wrong, and a fan of the Milwaukee Wave, I would assume. But, yes, literally he takes his bottle of whatever. And I mean, it looked like it was one of those, plastic bottles of Lipton iced tea or whatever that you spend like $7 or $8 on. And he screwed the top back on, and he just threw it down at the players. I mean, it was like an 8-foot throw down from where he was down to the players themselves, but you don't do that. And I don't know in these situations what compels people to do that kind of thing, other than geographic courage, I guess. Because I guess there are different kinds of courage. And this geographic courage, you're standing above the players themselves, and you're just kind of like, you know what, I think I'm going to do this. I think that it's going to be a smart thing for me to do, to just literally take my Lipton iced tea or whatever drink it was in the 16-ounce plastic recyclable bottle. I don't think I'm going to take this home with me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw the top back on it and hum it at those San Diego players because I'm mad. I feel like Billy Crystal in Running Scared, because I'm mad. And you just sit there and you hum it right down at the guy. I mean, like I said, I don't know what compels people to think that they can do that, B, that they should do that, and C, that they think they're going to get away with it. I don't know. I've sent the note. I have put out the siren signal for Parky and Craig. So we will see, because they are two of the busiest men on the planet. And so literally what I do is I will ask them if they are up for an idea. And we love it when they come in. But I am at the mercy of their schedules. If they're out conquering the planet, then if they can come on, great. And if they're out conquering the planet, and then we have a second. Okay. So Rhode Island won 3-0. Okay. Don't. Okay. So we will. Yes. Okay. So yeah. All right. So it was a busy weekend in the midweek in USL Championship for Dell and Rhode Island. So it was back and forth with Rhode Island and Charleston. But I never have understood the machismo that is attached to a moment like that, where it is literally, I've got this drink, I'm not taking it home, and I'm mad at these guys, and I'm just going to throw my drink at these guys. And thinking that it's something that you can do and not get away with it. I think I'm going to do this, and I'm going to leave the arena, and they're not going to catch me. I mean, that is bravado. I will not. Yeah, and they are, and they are, Abby. Abby's like, people says that people are drunk and not thinking, and sometimes it's both. And this gentleman in question, like I said, you can go to the end of the video. It's like 2 hours and 14 minutes in, and it is literally, you see the soccer's players leaving, and there's the the rundown of the angle of the seats, and the guy's standing up there, and he just literally just goes, "Whoop." I literally would love to know what he's thinking in that moment. Hey, I had this. I'm going to throw this at somebody. Allegedly. But yeah, that was that is not why we have the game that we do. It's not. And what I would ask in these situations is that we all be good stewards and make sure that the game does not devolve into that kind of stupidity. So it's just, you have moments like that and you're going, really? That's not why we're here. Yes, I know being a fan is short for fanatic, but that does not mean that you get to sit there and hum your Lipton iced tea at a player who is 10 feet below you when you're mad because you lose a game and then the game ends up in a fight. That's not why we're here. We are here to raise the game, promote the game, shine a light on the good and the bad here on a daily basis, but also remind ourselves to make sure that we are all good stewards. And yes, I know that arena soccer is a different animal. It's fun, and I've always enjoyed it. Like I said, as someone who grew up on Stevie Jungle, Stan Stamenkovic, and the New York Arrows and all of that, and the Chiefs indoor, I love arena. I love indoor soccer. I loved it in its heyday. When USA had the MISL on, and it was Kim Rontved and the Wichita Wings, and they're going up against the Kansas City Comets in a great rivalry. That when you had the Wichita Coliseum and the and Kemper Arena, shows you how old I am by dating you with those references. It was a great TV product. And, it is still hanging on in various and sundry, ways. I mean, we had the Attack here in Atlanta with Keith Tozer before he went back up to Milwaukee and turned the Milwaukee Wave into this beacon of indoor soccer up in Milwaukee. I mean, for me, like I said, I remember indoor soccer in the MISL, and now that it's the MASL and they have their own pyramid, it works in some places, and it's great that it does. But the moments like you had in Game 1 of the Ron Newman Finals remind us that we still have to be good stewards regardless of where the game is. You see somebody doing something stupid for their own safety and sanity and their own preservation of being a fan, remind them a little bit. Grab the cane and sit there and it's like, don't do it. We're all better than that. We are all better than that. So we'll see, but the investigation continues in Milwaukee, and you're just kind of going, man. You shake your head at moments like this, but it once again reminds us about being good stewards of the game more than anything else. So, And if you want to watch Game 2 tonight, watch Game 2 tonight. Like I said, it's a late night Game 2 in San Diego. It's on YouTube. But, the chaos that happened at the end of Game 1 carries over into Game number 2, and we'll see what happens in Game number 2 as San Diego is that close to winning Title 17. Okay. Like I said, I'm filibustering a bit because I don't know if Greg or Parkey is going to be joining us at 9:30. Like I said, there's plenty to talk about to get ready for the weekend. A lot of stuff going on overseas. We have to preview what's going on in England. We're going to let you know the gossip, rumor, and innuendo, what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. Hour number 2, we've got Evan Weston coming in from Apple TV, and that probably is where we'll take Major League Soccer, and we'll spend hour number 2 in MLS, go over all the matchups. Go over Atlanta United as they're heading to Toronto. They're leaving, I think they're leaving the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground about 2:30. And so you will have simultaneous events going on. You will have Atlanta United leaving the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground at 2:30 while the ribbon cutting, I guess for lack of a better word, is happening down the street for NWSL 2028 as they break ground on the training center that is, a half mile away. It's because that's at 2:00. And Maddie and I are going to be there for that along with Sophia. We're going to cover that. We're going to have everything there for you. And so keep an eye out and set your notifications for everything going on with the NWSL 2028 early this afternoon. And we'll have all of that. That's the next stage. I think it's going to be Marietta City leaders. Mr. Blank is going to be there. Commissioner Berman is going to be there. And so hopefully we get to ask some questions about Team 17 and Team 18 because it's been a very, very busy week of the NWSL. And I know that we're going to sit there and look at this and go, okay, ribbon cutting and everything's off and running, but where does the NWSL go from here? And when we had Margaret Fleming on earlier this week from Front Office Sports, it was good to sit there and go, well, okay, you're at 18 now and expansion fees are going through the roof. It's like literally you just wait. You waited a couple of months and then you're up by like $40 million for expansion fees in the NWSL. You're getting all these crowds that you're getting. Denver is going from Mile Hyatt Points to Dick's Sporting Goods Park to their facility that they're making on their campus to Stadium number 4. And it's going to be their own place as well when it comes to Denver. And that's down the line a little bit. But they're working on their own place at their training center. Modular probably, and seating, I think, about 12. And then as they get ready to build number 4, that'll be their permanent home, they could actually have matches at their training ground if they want it, and they can have matches at Stadium number 4 as they build it. So it'll be interesting to catch up with Commissioner Berman today. It'll be great to catch up with Mr. Blank today and find out what it's like to see all of this happen that we knew was going to happen. I mean, from way down the line to find out what's going on. And you sit there and it's like, okay, this is really real. And the city of Marietta is getting some land in exchange. And so it was approved this past week, earlier this week or late last week. And so all of that has officially happened. Everything has been signed off. The I's have been crossed and the T's have been dotted to make sure that everything involving Atlanta United and NWSL 2028 is ready to go. Now, for this, okay, yes, proper hydration. We have to be properly hydrated getting ready for this segment. And I think Dell is going snagglepuss here. Exit stage right with what happened in the midweek. And we bring in our buddy Michael Parkhurst, who knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Good morning, John, and a special good morning to Mr. Dell as well.
Yeah, he was concerned. He was wondering if you were coming in this morning, considering what happened in the midweek with the 3-0 result. And he was like, yeah, I might have to exit stage right even, and head out. Did you get a chance to watch that match?
I sure did.
So what are some of your takeaways, sir, about weekend, midweek, and getting a large result that you need right now in USL Championship?
Yeah, it was really good to get that result. We did need it badly, and the scoreline was a little deceiving. It was not a 4-0 game. It was actually a lot tighter than that.
Oh, come on! It was a blowout, and you know it was.
But for once, we finished our chances, a lot of them. So that was really nice, and we played on the counterattack. It seems like oftentimes when we have less than 40% of the ball, we win games. So, data, I guess, doesn't lie in the end. So Charleston dominated the ball, but we counterattacked really well. We took advantage of some opportunities, and Charleston had some opportunities, but we just either made saves or made blocks, or they missed the goal. So it was an entertaining game for sure, but it was a big win. We needed that one, and it's always nice to score goals in front of your home fans.
Mm-hmm. So when you get a result like this, and you're dealing with a positive result coming off of, and most times going into play in a compressed schedule, it's a challenge to fight through and get the result that you're looking for, and at the same time, you can't really dwell on it. It's like, yeah, it's cool and everything, but it's been processed and we've got to sit there and focus on the next thing. There's no real chance to enjoy it and understand its place, because you got to move on to the next. Literally, it's like, all right, it's done. We got to put it over here and focus on the next. There's no time to sit there and go, man, we did something cool and we needed to do that. Now you've got to build on it, and you don't have time to think about building on it.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it that night and that evening, and you enjoy yourself, and you sleep well, not having to stress about that performance. So I think everybody, coaching staff, players, probably slept really well on Wednesday nights, which is helpful. But yeah, of course, we've got another game this weekend. I think we've got a cup game, USL Cup. So we play the rival Hartford away this weekend. But yeah, to Dell's point, I was looking forward to watching Kisiedu play. Obviously, having spent time with him in Atlanta, I was looking to see how he was doing there for Charleston, but he was injured early, unfortunately.
Sorry, I was getting hydrated and caffeinated while you were talking. When you came down this past weekend, first and foremost, very, very selfishly, it was good to see you, and actually be within, like touching range. It's like, oh, there's Michael Parkhurst. It's like, to see you in person, it was very cool. What was it like for you to be back with the clinic and everything?
Yeah, it's always good to be back. I hadn't been to a AU home game in a while, actually. So it was good to be back in the building, see a game, see a lot of faces that I hadn't seen in a while, which is always nice to reconnect with some people that had some good years with. So productive and enjoyable weekend, result aside.
Right. And obviously we'll get into that in a bit, but I want to get into the productive part, the off the field stuff. So you go wandering out. You have the audience there, and I imagine it was probably about 8 or 9 different trumpeters on each side, with your guard of honor as you're walking out onto the field, and you're getting ready for everything there. So it was a chance for you, obviously, to give back. But what was it, for you to be in those kinds of situations? What was it like to be able to have that kind of an audience as you continue to grow things with Greg at Beyond Goals?
Yeah, it's always amazing to be back in front of fans and in the building, and I'm always heartwarmed by the reception I receive and the recognition, and people just saying hello and everything. So that happened a couple times in the stadium that night, and it's always really nice. And so always so good to be back.
Yeah,
for sure.
And then when you get to now, when you're in the building, and I mean, this is outside of doing clinics and things like that, when you come back to Atlanta, do you get the fan questions? Do you actually get soccer questions about, from dads and moms and kids and things like that? Or is it just specifically soccer? Would you like to answer soccer questions about their youngsters and things like that, and helping them grow the game? Would you like to have a de facto Beyond Goals clinic as you're walking into? It's like, yes, I'm open to answering questions about your child and mentoring. I'm open to that too. How does that work? Is it all just Atlanta United questions, or do they actually ask mentoring questions?
More Atlanta United and just life. I'm always happy to talk mentoring stuff, but more other stuff, honestly. So I mean, I did get to a couple Atlanta United Academy games, which was nice, and see the next generation play a little bit. They look good. I'm always shocked by all the talent that's out there. So, that's great. It's still there, and it's more reinforcements for future years down the line.
Mm-hmm. When you get to go and visit Atlanta United, do you take information? I mean, is it strictly just for you between the ears? Is it one of those things where I'm going to enjoy myself here, and then I look at the U18s and the U16s and I'm going, man, got this coming along? Or do you take action that you're looking at on the field, file it away, and does that help you with Beyond Goals when it comes to your mentoring? Do you take examples? Do you take screenshots in your head about things that you see on the field and in practice and things, and file that away for later?
No.
Or do you just enjoy yourself?
The purpose of it was just to go and enjoy, see what the level was like,
right?
Be around.
Yeah.
So that was what I was focused on. If there's ever something where I'm watching a game and I see something, of course, then I'll kind of put a note in the back of my head or write it down on my phone or something to talk about with mentees. But nothing occurred like that in the games that I watched. It's really just for me to see what the level is like, because I see some mentees games here and there, but it's always tough to judge things. And that Atlanta United's going to be one of the top level teams in the area at any given age group. So now I know, okay, this is the baseline here of how you can compare everybody.
Okay. And when you're writing things on your phone, do you actually take the pen and sit there and do it like this? Do you take
Oh, wow.
do you take the pen and sit there and write it on your phone? Because I know I do. I mean, that's what
That's very fancy. I didn't even know I could have a pen on my phone, John.
I had a stylus on one of my old BlackBerries, and that drove me crazy because it would never take the writing that it's like I'm trying to write something, and then the stylus would not write what I was trying to write, and I'd have to write it like over and over again, and then you'd have to go back because it would be a mess, and you don't understand what you're writing. So, like I said, I was curious. When it's playoff time here. And in the state of Georgia, and I have all of my brackets. This is the time of year where literally it is like brackets and fill them out and write in pen, and it's like who's doing what and going all over the place. When it comes to, do you ever get like emergency mentoring sessions? It's like, do people sit there like in a crunch situation? Do you get emergency calls about things like, whatever pops into a mentee's mind? Hey, I need to step in outside of my normal, pattern of catching up with you because of something that might be going on in a postseason situation?
Here and there. So I had a call on, was it Tuesday night? Because he had a playoff game on Wednesday, I think. Yeah, that sounds right. The playoff game on Wednesday, a big game. Really nervous about it. So we connected on Tuesday night and spoke about it. And so yeah, it definitely happens. And we had a great session. And he texted me the next day, and they lost the game, but they were playing a team that was very highly ranked in the state. And so it was not a surprise that they lost, but they only lost 1-0. He was a defender, and he said he played really well. So I was thrilled for him. And always available to help out in the last minute crunch if I can.
Yeah. And so is it, when they call in these crunch situations, is it just double checking and reaffirmation of previous things, or do new things pop up? Is it new concerns, or what in these 911 calls that you get in the Beyond Goals 911 booth, and you pick up the phone? Is it new stuff? Or is it reaffirmation mainly?
It's probably more reaffirmations, but just talking through things, right? Like, hey, why are you nervous? Like, what's the worst that can happen? Right. What about, so you're thinking about all these negative things of what could happen, but what about the positive, right? What if you guys go out there and win, right? What if you go into the locker room 0-0 at halftime? Who's under more pressure? And just letting them know, like, even the top teams feel the pressure, right? The pressure's on them to win. Actually, I talk about my time at Wake Forest. We were number 1 going into the NCAA tournament every year I was there. And we never made it to an Elite 8. And so upsets happen, and top teams are nervous too. So, don't think that just because you're an underdog, you guys are the only nervous ones. No. So we talk through some of that stuff and normalize it, and, try and give them some confidence.
Well, and are the phone calls, or the sessions, or the 911 sessions, are they usually short with reaffirmations, or do you have to kind of remind your mentee over time? It's like you have to try and draw it out of them. Is it a quick reaffirmation most of the time, or do you have to kind of sit there and walk them through, hey, it's okay to be nervous, because nervous, if it's channeled correctly, nervous can be a good thing for you?
Totally. And usually it's players that I've worked with before, so it's a little shorter, and just talking about this specific situation, and not like confidence in general and in the long run, right? I'm just trying to help them in a very quick situation be at their best for tomorrow, before we could talk about big picture stuff. So, or revisit big picture stuff. So it's really just kind of a couple small things of, what to do with nerves, how to approach tomorrow. Like, what are you going to eat, and what are you going to think about on the way to the game, and those types of little things.
So when let me ask you this. It's a two-step thing. You open the door here. When do you still get nervous even though you're not playing anymore? Whether it's through a mentoring session, whether it's public appearances, those kinds of things, do you still get that same kind of nervous energy even though it's not on the field anymore? It's now doing this next stage? Or are you the most confident person on the planet and you're just kind of like, yeah, man, I've got all this?
No, I mean, even confident people get nervous, but I think I get a little bit nervous when I'm doing not so much team talks anymore, because Greg and I have done enough where it's we're in a good system and everything. But if I were to do like a company talk or something, I'd probably be a little nervous before that, or speaking in front of a big engagement. I'm pretty comfortable, but I'd still be a little nervous before something like that. And I tell people that Rhode Island FC has brought into me a feeling that I haven't had in a long time, which is a real feeling of care. And I think with that comes a little nervousness of watching their games, because, when I watch Atlanta United, I want them to win, of course, but I don't get nervous about it. But for Rhode Island, I do a little bit. I think just obviously being more than just connected. So I do for those games.
You're invested, and I mean that literally and figuratively, because of all of the effort that you've put into this. And I will admit that I still get nervous when I go on the air for anything, because if you're not nervous, then the importance of the moment is lost on you. And every moment like that is important to someone somewhere about something that you're doing. And so that's why for me, it's like I still get the nervous moments in my stomach. I still have to take a walk a little bit, to kind of back time my life and everything. It's like, okay, if I've got to be here by this, then I've got to be ready here. But I still get nervous about doing these kinds of things, because you don't want to let yourself down because of all the prep that you've made. And you don't want to let everyone else down around you that is a part of that team that's there. And you don't want to let the audience down because of their time that they've invested in you to be a part of what they're doing. So it's almost three separate things that you've got to juggle when it comes to this nervousness and the expectation of the moment.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, Tiger Woods used to say if he didn't feel a little bit nervous before a Sunday, he wasn't going to play as well or be as locked in. Right? He welcomed it and wanted it. And so, yeah, there's absolutely something to feeling a little bit nervous that gets us on top of our A game, or can get us on top of our A game.
All right. So then let me ask you this. When was the last time that you were nervous?
I don't know, 20th minute against Charleston on Wednesday night.
Shoot. Well, and that's when you have that different kind of nervous now. When you're Rhode Island nervous, is it literally a different kind of nervous than it was when you were, whether you're watching Atlanta United, being a part of it as a player? How different a nervous is it?
It's a different nervous because you have no control over it. Right?
What's that like?
Being a fan or being on the sideline, it's way more nerve-wracking. Honestly, it's I don't know if I could do coaching just because of that.
But you do mentoring, and mentoring is coaching.
Yes, but this is lessons, and there's no immediate result going on, and I can control some of it a little bit. Right? I can control the messaging and what they're receiving out there on the field. I mean, coaches, they do the work beforehand, and they can make some adjustments, but it's on the players. And so Yeah, it used to be the worst when I was as a pro, if I was either on the bench or if I was at home watching because I didn't travel or injured or something. That was rough. That's super nerve-wracking. So this is sort of like that. I'm not that nervous, but I definitely get my heart rate up. I definitely yell at the TV here and there. So
So you're saying we need to have an ISO camera on you in the house someplace when there's a Rhode Island game on and you're in your office and you're pacing back and forth nervously and screaming at the television. That's what we're saying.
well, there's no pacing, that's for sure. But I'm on the couch with some animated words of choice, leaving
colorful metaphors, sir. Are they colorful metaphors?
some similes thrown in there. Yeah, some
Yes.
haikus.
Let's see now a Parky angry haiku. That would be something.
That would be something.
It was 434, whatever it is. I think whenever you come up with an angry Parky haiku for Beyond Goals, I think that'd be epic. And have that as part of the Beyond Goals mentoring handbook. It's like, okay, you have to come up with an angry haiku for your mentees. That's how this rolls. Michael Parkhurst hanging out with us here for the Friday Free Kick, as he has probably sprinted in from a workout and going, "Oh my God, Nelson sent me an email this morning. What am I going to do?" And
He's got an early workout in this morning, but no, I was actually catching up on midweek MLS action, watching highlights and clipping stuff. So that's what I was doing this morning.
All right. So what was the one thing that you found that was there one thing that you were clipping the most and sitting there and saying, okay, commonality here, or was it moment, because it affects different mentees?
Two things that stood out that I clipped today was one in the New York City Cincinnati game. I think his name's Ojeda, a winger for New York City. He had a big chance in just beginning of the second half on an acute angle, and Celentano stuck a foot out and he saved it. He had almost the exact same angle and opportunity like 15 minutes later, and he raised the ball a little bit and it went over Celentano's leg and into the back of the net. And so it's a good example of, hey, you need to pick up information. You need to learn from things that happen in a game and adjust. And he did it and he scored. So that was one. And then the second one, and I've seen a couple clips now, is center back positioning on crosses and not getting pulled out and leaving space in behind you. It's I saw a few different ones where it's like, ugh. Of course, center back stuff gets me. And I'm like debating in my head, LA, I don't know how much MLS action you watch, but LA Galaxy
entirely too much, but sure.
LA Galaxy will not win more games than not if Yoshida continues to play center back for them.
Okay.
I so many clips I see of him just mind-boggling. And I think that he's pretty good on the ball. And I see he's a very good leader, I would assume. And he's good in the air, but goodness me.
When it comes to set piece positioning and things like that, obviously it's the learned behavior with tape and everything. And when you're trying to defend against that guy, capital T, capital G, and you know that he's going to be working down a wing and there's going to be a pass that you're going to have to defend, or there's going to be a corner or a set piece that guy is going to be front and center on. When it comes to study during the week, whether it's, and out on the field is one thing because you're looking at learned behaviors and things like that. How much film study would you get into as a player when you know that the opposition had that guy, capital T, capital G, that you were going to have to close down first and foremost so you could be successful? How much film study did you do on the stars of the game, knowing that they were going to be trying to do what they do in a given week?
Yeah.
Was it more on the field for you and knowing behaviors and tendencies, or was it film study against the stars of the game that you knew were coming into your barn that you had to prep for?
I mean, no matter who it was, I was watching film for sure. And honestly, players that I had played against more often, I watched less film on because I knew already. It's in my memory bank of tendencies they like to do, runs they make that they like to make in the box. Those are things that I'm looking at when I'm watching film is, how do they like to get to goal? How do they like to score their goals? What do they do in and around the box? What runs do they like to make? Those types of things. So I don't need to see, somebody that's good in the air. I don't need to see them head the ball 10 times, right? But I do like to see, are they doing it more at the near post? Are they doing it more at the back post? Is their movement really good? Or is it just that they can jump really well, right? What's going to help me give myself the best chance to help defend this guy? And, if you're playing against somebody like Kai Kamara, he can jump through a roof. So it's, hey, if you get into this situation, there's limited things you can do, right? It's preventing that situation, keeping a high line and trying to block crosses, but that's dependent on teammates.
Pulling down his shorts.
Yeah. Otherwise, you just get into the body, make him jump over you and make it as difficult as possible. Because I know that I'm not just going to jump up against Kai Kamara. That's stupid. It's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
But if I just run into him and he has to then jump over me and fall and that type of thing, maybe it throws off his header a little bit. That's one thing I talk with defenders a lot about is you're not going to be able to prevent everything and block every shot and do everything perfectly. Sometimes it's a matter of making it as difficult as possible, knowing that they are still going to get their shot off, still might score, but make it as difficult as possible in that moment.
Man talks disruption when he's talking about stars. When you're talking about this kind of stuff with defenders and mentees, do you give them tape to reference from MLS? Do you have them look at their opponents? How do you sit there and say, okay, focus on your high school tape, or look at MLS guys, look at ABC, look at this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy to help you out? When it comes to reference material, where do you go?
Yeah, I'll try and if they share video with me, then I'll look at their own video and we'll talk through things together. But otherwise, if not, or even in addition to, I'll show them stuff from MLS or NWSL, because obviously it's at a higher level than they're currently at, but it's the same type of things. It's the same space, and a lot of it is just reading space and knowing, okay, hey, when a center back steps out and there's a huge gap, fill in the gap a little bit. Don't be standing next to your guy. He's going to run right past you type things. And if I see it in MLS, I sure know it's happening to 16-year-olds.
I feel like, man, all of a sudden, I just have this Michael Parkhurst version of the baseball bunch that needs to be taped every single time out, where you're like, Fred McGriff or Johnny Bench or Tommy Lasorda or whoever it was back in the day when you bring in your stars and everything, and they're walking you through everything. Literally, it's like the Beyond Goals bunch. Turn it into its own video series. All right, before you get out of here, I have to ask. Atlanta United had a 1-0 lead, gives up 2 goals in 5. 2-1 loss. You go from a position of strength to a position of fighting, and then really having to fight up a big hill. You're getting the chances, but you're getting into the 18, but you're not finishing chances, getting shots. What are you looking at when you're seeing Atlanta United these days?
Yeah, it was tough on Saturday. That's for sure. I thought, Nashville was there for the taking in the first half, and so we didn't do enough to take advantage of that. Because you let a good team like that stick around and you just know it's coming. So, I think that was disappointing. We didn't do enough to really push things and get in behind and really take it to him in the first half. And that's what happens. And I saw the arguments that were happening at the very end of the game. And I thought, some of that is really good. And some of that is like, oof, I'm not surprised, but it'll be interesting to see how things go from here. And to see them come out and have a good performance overall against New England was refreshing and good. So it's possible in there still. And so I think that after that game, right, I think unfortunately you're in a time period where you have to take positives even from a loss and try and build off of that, because it's really fragile right now, really fragile. And, I think that the hopes of even making it to the playoffs right now are so low in my mind that now it's kind of like, gosh, can you just not finish towards the bottom, and can we kind of, I don't know, get back to some semblance of respect within the league? So that game shows that it's there, but we're still so far away from where we need to be.
Say, and of course, you open up another door for me, and it's time for you to go and actually have a weekend and have plans and everything as you get ready for Cup, and then you got Birmingham coming in after that for Rhode Island FC. And yes, I do wear the gear around here, and everybody sits there and goes, "Ooh, look at that." That is the fun part. As always, my friend, it's great to see you. Thanks for putting up with all of my golden retriever brain questions when it comes to everything involving Beyond Goals. It's great to see you, my friend. Glad you were down here. It was great to see you.
Likewise.
And all of that stuff. And don't be a stranger. Come and crash anytime, and all that stuff. And just go have a weekend. We'll catch up soon.
Thanks, John. You as well.
All right, be good. Michael Parkhurst, he is out the door, and so that means that at 10 o'clock we go to hour number 2. It's the hot tag, and as I say, it's like the Ricky Morton face in peril bit. Shawn Michaels is in the corner in a tag team match, and he's getting double teamed, he's getting beat up, and all of a sudden he finds a way to duck under the guy, and you lunge all the way over to the corner, you tag in the Undertaker, and here we go. Hour number 2, Evan Weston, and Evan has been a part of the chaos that is all Major League Soccer, and I was warned about this, so I have to ask Evan. This past travel week, sir, this past 7 days for you in travel. So if you would please break down all of the chaos that you've been a part of in the last 7 days to get us to where I have you for 20 minutes locked in place. What have you been doing, sir?
Yeah, the midweek game presents some challenges for the announcers.
How much of a challenge is it?
Yes. Well, first of all, I'd like to be Robert Gibson, if that's okay.
Absolutely fine.
As the hot tag.
Sure thing.
Rock and Roll Express.
Attaboy.
But I started in Salt Lake City last weekend. I had them against San Diego. They performed magnificently. And then I may have made it a little bit more difficult on myself.
Oh,
I have a very, very good friend of mine lives in Salt Lake City. I stayed an extra day to spend some time. The flights home to Orlando, so I'm based in Orlando, Florida. So Salt Lake City is not close for me.
No.
They have a 5:40 p.m. and a red eye. So my options are risk the red eye after the game or go the next evening. So instead of the 5:40, I said, you know what? Let me spend the whole day. I'll have dinner with him and his wife, and I'll take the red eye. So I took the Sunday night red eye home from Salt Lake City. So I got home Monday at about 6 a.m. I then had to leave for New Jersey about 24 hours later to go up for that absolutely unhinged Red Bull game on Wednesday night, which, by the way, was just an absolute blast. What a fun game to call. Now, my weekend game is in Seattle, and I would have gone straight from New Jersey to Seattle, but I have an obligation for Orlando City to tape their weekly television show. So I had to come back yesterday morning to tape the show for Orlando. I am leaving for Seattle at 6:30 p.m. tonight for the game this weekend. And then Sunday, I leave at 8 a.m. and I lose the entire day. I get home at like 5 o'clock because of the time difference. So at least I am racking up a ton of miles.
This is what I was going to ask in my follow-up question. Are you getting miles and points, sir?
Yeah, I'm targeting Delta, which is not a hub in Orlando, but if I need to connect somewhere, I can just go through Atlanta. And it's still the best one for this sort of thing. I got the credit card. I'm starting to get upgraded to Comfort Plus, which is making me a little bit too bougie for Coach. But I got to tell you, it's a lot of fun. It really is. It's everything you want when you grow up and you want to be a play-by-play announcer. You get to jet all over the country and call Major League Sports on TV. And I mean, come on, what could possibly be better? So I'm loving it. And then I get to come and brag about it on a podcast. So.
Well, and the thing is that your setup this year, and yes, we believe in proper hydration. So yes, absolutely. Feel free.
Yeah, the coffee has been a lifesaver this
No
week.
doubt. But your setup this year is that whomever is not sitting at the desk with Egan is with you. And
Yes.
so it's either Sasha or Dax that is with you this season on a rotating basis. Have you, to this point of the season, called one by the other name?
No, they're very different people.
Oh, I know, but I mean, like, but you're in that rhythm, and it's like, and you might be with Sasha, and it's like, yeah, because you had Dax last or something. It's like, yeah, McCarty, and it's and Sasha looks at you, and it's like, what? I didn't know if you had that.
No, amazingly, I mean, now I probably will that you put it in my head, but I hadn't yet.
I just, like I said, I've got a golden retriever brain. I just have to ask these really important questions. When you get a chaotic match like you had with Red Bull and DC, you get to see where Ty Baribo is a bad man, and he can be a bad man to folks, and he gets the Hattie for DC in this one. I didn't have this one marked as an 8-goal thriller. That was not my hashtag going into this particular match.
Yeah, I think Red Bull is responsible for that.
Okay.
Because of the way they play. It is so aggressive. Where, I mean, you watch the DC goals. When they break out, how high the Red Bull line is. 3 of the 4 goals, DC is a breakaway from halfway. And they had 4 or 5 other opportunities that they didn't score where that started. And I admire the heck out of Michael Bradley for wanting to play this way and for having the gumption to say, in a lot of instances, teenagers are my best option, and this is the way we do it. It's the way the best teams in the world do it, and it's how we're going to do it. But in MLS, Barcelona has better players than almost everybody they play against. In MLS, you don't. The best teams in MLS can still lose to the worst teams in MLS. Happens all the time. And so I want, and center back is probably their weakest position on paper. So I wonder if they maybe, and Dax was really getting into this on the broadcast, do they have to be a little bit more pragmatic? Because we can't be spotting 4 goals to DC United at home. I mean, Ty Baribo is a great player. He's a class striker. He's one of the best in the league. But you still have to get the ball to him. And 4 teams in a row were able to prevent DC from getting the ball to him because they don't have a lot of creation in their side. And Red Bull shipped 4. They'd scored 4 goals all year in 8 games, and they scored 4 goals in one night. So I do think Red Bull probably needs to introduce, far be it for me to tell Michael Bradley what to do. And again, I really enjoy watching their team, and I hope I get more games because that was a heck of a lot of fun. I had them in Orlando in week 1, and it was a blast too. They are box office. We had a Apple TV rankings, like a league pass rankings of MLS teams. They'd be right at the top. But I do wonder if they might introduce a little bit of pragmatism to their side to kind of get, they're 500 right now. I think to be a little better than that and to prevent these leaky games, they might need to balance it just a little bit.
Okay, so then that brings up 2 thoughts for me, and they kind of intertwine. Is that 4-goal surrendering defensively, is it a feature or a bug because of schedule compression or something along those lines? Or is it, and the idea of being a little bit more pragmatic, would going against type with younger players who are brought up in a system a certain way, would that short their brain out that much more, considering they're used to doing things a certain way? Hey, I need you to dial it back, but that's not what we did. That's not how I was raised. And then you're kind of scrambling their brain a little bit. So I was just the 2 thoughts.
Great point, John. And I think, I don't think he's going to moderate, frankly. I mean, when we talked to him on Monday, Dax kind of challenged him a little bit on it. And he is so committed to this way of playing. He believes that this is the way the best teams in the world win. And he's right. You watch Barcelona, you watch Bayern Munich, you watch PSG. Those were the 3 teams he name dropped, are playing this way. But again, the talent difference for those teams versus the talent difference in MLS, which is a salary capped league where you just cannot get that much better than everybody else. it's a little bit of a different proposition. So, look, they've had some great results this season already. They're super fun to watch. I certainly don't want them to change for watching them play. It will help when they get Justin Che back. He's their best defender, who is sort of, they need him to put out fires. And it is a bit of a feature in that they are okay with giving up some of these opportunities. There have just been too many. And Michael Bradley even said in the postgame, there were too many tonight. We've got to find a way to limit this. So we'll see how they go about it. Again, the midweek thing is a different wrinkle too, and they played Open Cup the previous week. So there is that balancing act to it. We'll see what they end up doing. They're going to be one of the more fascinating stories in the league to watch, though, for sure.
All right. Since you bookmarked it, other fascinating stories that you have either been in the booth to watch or just are fascinated by as we're here at the quarter pole would be whom?
Yeah, RSL, I've had 3 times now, and they have been extremely impressive. I think I've called more than half their goals, so I might have a different tinted view on them. They've been great all 3 times I've seen them, and really disappointing result for them against Miami this week in a game that I know was a big one for them, and they just didn't have the sharpness in the final third that they did the previous week against San Diego. But I'm so impressed by what Pablo Mastroeni's been able to do. You know, the end of last year, they end up in 9th in the West. They back into the wild card game. They lose in 1. You're thinking he's been there 5 years now. Is this the end of a cycle? Is it time for RSL to start over? They have new ownership. You would totally understand if they wanted to put their own people in place. And instead, they recommitted to Pablo. They spent a lot of money. They bring in not just Morgan Gilavogi as a DP, but they bring in an aggressive, super talented left wing back in Juan Manuel Sanabria, a terrific defensive midfielder who's played over 400 games in his career in Stein Spearings. Defenders like Lucas Engel coming in. They brought in DeAndre Yedlin last summer. He's going to be a big piece. So you've added a lot to this roster. And I asked Pablo what the difference was, and he said, we have better players now. And it's all about your players. All I can do is put them on the field and watch and create an environment for them to succeed in. And he has. And then Xavier Gozo breaking out as one of the we talked about the teenagers with Red Bull. Xavier Gozo, one of the top teenage talents in MLS, very much not long for our league. Enjoy him while we've got him. But the relationship he and Diego Luna have developed in just a few games has been really fun to watch. So really exciting to see what's going on with that team. I've also had Atlanta a few times. On the flip side, I really thought Tata Martino would at least bring a baseline of results to this side. And some of the quotes coming out of his press conferences the last couple of weeks have been fairly shocking. Talking about, how he's never seen anything like this in his career. That is a loaded statement. This man's been doing that for a long time. And then saying this week, if I didn't have my history here, I'd probably be out the door. I don't know that that's true in Major League Soccer, as much as it is maybe in other leagues Tata's coached in, but even still, it's been astonishing. That is I think a full teardown is probably coming sooner than later for that roster. Can they get someone to take some of these big contracts, whether it's within the league or abroad, and kind of restart this thing? Because we know the ambition is there. We know the ownership is there to do what it takes to build a champion. They've done it before with this infrastructure. But yeah, it's going to be a significant project, and we'll see if Tata's almost 70 years old. What does he want to stick around and see this through? So that's going to be a really interesting storyline to watch.
Well, and you mentioned Tata, and traditionally Tata is of the Bielsa calendar, where it is 2, maybe 3 years, and then you're on to your next project. So obviously you keep an eye on the calendar when it comes to Tata, and you mentioned patience of the ownership, and legitimately, I think it comes down franchise by franchise, because Montreal has already pulled the trigger on Marco Donadel, and it's like, that's right out of the Joey Saputo handbook. It's like, okay, chapter 4, lack of patience. Oh yeah, here it is. So you hit this point, and then all of a sudden Donadel goes away, and it just wasn't successful at all. over 36 matches with Donadel. I think they only won 6 or 7 times. And so you combine lack of results and lack of patience and lack of investment and all these things, and you see Donadel go out the door. It is a long in the tooth situation here for Atlanta. And last time out in the midweek, they were inside the 18, and the shots were there. I think it was 23-7. They outshot New England, and you're finally getting those shots taken inside the 18. And Tata has always wanted this club to, for lack of a better phrase, fail forward. I want you to be aggressive in your attack. And if you are aggressive and it's not successful, keep going in that direction. I don't want you to fail going backward, to keep possession just to maintain possession for the idea of possession. So right now, this past timeout, they were aggressive failing forward. The results weren't there, but you had a lead and you gave up 2 in 5 minutes. As you and I both know, it comes down to moments. And there were 2 moments where New England took advantage off a set piece, and then it was getting to the ball first with Peyton Miller, and you go from 1-0 down to 2-1 up, and then you're having to fight for the final 12 minutes.
Yep, and that's the game, right? I mean, it really is just in the blink of an eye, and I really think this summer is so crucial for them. Coming off the World Cup, you would imagine they're going to have an opportunity to move some of these guys. You hope Almiron has a good couple of weeks. All 3 of their DPs probably need to be cleared off the books at some point. They have they committed a lot of money last summer for guys that Ronnie Dyla wanted. Steven Alzate, Juan Berrocal, and Anaya Mihai, TAM players on long-term contracts. Alzate's on a 5-year contract, and is not starting. So there's some, they have kind of odd roster construction. They have 5 number 8s and no number 6 in their midfield room. So it's one where there's so many smart people in the building. I just, I have to think they're going to figure it out at some point, but I know it's extremely frustrating for the fans. And that fan base is magnificent, and you hate to see their numbers dwindle. But they've got to get out of this malaise somehow, and I think it's on the roster side at this point. I think Tata's doing what he can. Like you said, they looked more like a Tata team this week, but ultimately they're going to need to do some serious work on this roster, I think.
And now that you are heading from one end of the country to the other for the Jesus Ferreira Paul Areola Invitational with Seattle and Dallas, what's Study Hall been like getting ready for this one?
Yeah, Seattle, for once, is going to have a rest advantage in this game. Dallas had about as bad a Wednesday night as you could possibly have, losing at home and losing Petar Musa, who has been I think is out and out the best number 9 in MLS, and was on track to, if not start, and very maybe start, but at least play significant minutes for Croatia, one of the top national teams in the world at the World Cup.
Yep.
He still might be. We don't have any information yet. It's early. There has not been any indication one way or the other on a timetable for Petar Musa or anything like that. I haven't spoken to Eric Quill yet. It's tough with these midweeks sometimes to organize, and they actually traveled yesterday to Seattle, so they're going to train today. And we'll try to catch up with Eric in a little bit, but they are at least blessed with Logan Farrington, who has been excellent playing off of Petar Musa. And if Musa is going to miss time, Farrington is going to have to step up for them. I had Dallas a bunch last year, and they were struggling at the time. And they kind of became my guys a little bit just because I had them so much. And I was very struck by Eric Quill's belief in what he was doing, his conviction to drop Lucho Acosta from the side when it wasn't working, and to move him on and go with his gut. And it worked out. They went on that great run to end the year, got into the playoffs. They started so strong, but they've hit a little blip here. They've dropped points in 3 straight home games. They blew leads in 2 of them. And now if they're going to have any time without Petar Musa on the shelf, that is, as big a hole as you could have in an MLS side, this side of South Beach. So that is a significant loss if he is out. Again, we still don't know, but when you lose your best player coming off injured like that, one of the best players in the league, it is a tough blow. And then you got to go to Seattle. You know how many times Dallas has won at Seattle in their history? One.
Okay.
One. In 2011,
Wow.
Breck Shea scored the goal.
Hey, Brecken Shea. Wow.
Breck Shea scored the goal for Dallas in a 1-0 win in 2011, 15 years ago. It's the only time Dallas has won in Seattle in the regular season in 17 tries. Seattle's wild because you think of them as an MLS giant, right? They're one of the premier clubs in the league.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't actually spent that much money in the last half decade. They really haven't. And they're still as good as they always are. It doesn't matter who's out there. Paul Rothrock, Snyder Brunel.
System guy.
Antino Lopez, Kalani Casarias. They have like 5 guys in their 11 from local colleges.
And Asaze de Rosario through their system.
Totally. The talent development that they have is out of this world. It's not just about smart acquisitions. And it's not even just about, academy, because they're not a young team. Snyder Brunel is the only teenager. Most of their players are 25 and up. But they are a team of players that came into Seattle and got better while they were on the team. Development doesn't stop when you turn 21. It doesn't stop when you turn 27. You can keep getting better. And Seattle understands that better than any other team in MLS. And they still have their pillar players. Andrew Thomas has been sensational in goal this season. They still have all reliable Nuhu, one of the most entertaining players in MLS history. Christian Roldan, of course, is really having kind of a double peak when you thought he was maybe declining. Mm-hmm. Now at age 30, he is better than ever. Certainly looks like he's going to play a role for the U.S. men's national team this summer. Jordan Morris is getting healthy. They actually have a really interesting kind of triple battle going on at the number 9 between Morris, Danny Musovski, and Osaze de Rosario. I don't know. I mean, obviously, Jordan Morris has the highest upside of those 3 players if he is fit. If he has fit has been the defining nature of his career. We will see what that looks like. But again, I do wonder what the ultimate upside is because they haven't invested in those top end players. And do they have the top end talent to take on a Vancouver or an LAFC, or I guess a San Jose? We have to mention them at this point. Mm-hmm. They're doing it with one DP and a bunch of college guys too. So maybe they do. I don't know. Who am I to doubt the Seattle Sounders? They are an incredible organization. I'm looking forward to the game. I do. It's going to be tough for Dallas on a short rest, especially if they don't have Petter Musa traveling. I'm excited to see the grass at Lumen Field. The grass in Atlanta for the World Cup is spectacular. I'm looking forward to seeing it. The Sounders fans are raving about it. They wish it could stay forever. There are myriad reasons why it can't, but I am really looking forward to seeing that and getting to call a game in front of a big crowd in Seattle should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Nuhu is the MLS walking version of the Gordie Howe hat trick on any given day, and you could sit there.
Oh, bless Nuhu. Nuhu's been in the league for 10 years.
Wow.
The one constant in our lives in a world of upheaval and change, we still have Nuhu.
Is Nuhu. Yes, exactly. So you need to do that in your James Earl Jones voice, isn't it? The one constant, Ray, is Nuhu.
I've got good pipes. I don't know if I have those pipes.
I mean, that was strong stuff. All right, so who's in the booth with you this time?
It'll be Sasha. So
okay.
Sasha's based in LA, so very often with him, my games with him have been San Diego, LA Galaxy, Salt Lake City, because he's going to New York, Connecticut every other week now. So to keep him a little bit closer to home, it's just a nice setup in that sense. Spend a little more time with his family, and I get to rack up a ton of miles. So it's great for me. I love it. I'm so excited to get to see the West Coast and see a lot of these teams and a lot of these places.
Yeah. So, and when you travel from O-Town, do you and Dax take the same flights when you're paired together for the road?
Often, yeah. We've been on. We like to do the evening flight. Although once we hit July after the World Cup, you can't do that anymore because you're going to hit thunderstorms and get delayed. So it'll be mornings from July on. But I've gotten him into the lounge a couple of times. Started to show him a little bit about what it's like to travel as a civilian. He's used to the charter flight, although he went through years and years and years of flying commercial with his teams. He came in at the end of the charter flight or the beginning of the charter flight era. So, but he's enjoying it. And God, what great people, both of them, by the way. Just A1 guys. Been a blast to work with them and to learn. I've learned a lot about the game in just a few short months here because they're two guys that were, as all-star level MLS players, as good as they were because they were so smart and read the game so well and were so cerebral. And it is why they are such good analysts and why they've been fast-tracked to the top at MLS. And it's just a kind of a privilege to get to hang out with them and pick their brains and call the games with them.
Evan and Sasha for the Ferreira Areola Memorial Classic coming up this weekend on Apple TV. Evan, my friend, it's always great to see you. Get your intel from what's going on down there in Central Florida with the Purple Team. Safe travels. Avoid all of the stuff in the middle of the country because I know you're going to have to fly around it to get up there.
Yeah, it's going to be a long one.
Yeah, it's going to be a long one. Be safe, my friend. We will catch up with you soon. Thanks for dropping by on a Friday.
Thanks, John.
There he goes, Evan Weston. He's going to go and be properly caffeinated now and continue his run. So it's Evan and Sasha. They are going. So Sasha's going north. Evan's going from one end of the country to the other. So that's the rundown there. Okay, let's get into who is where, the cruise, and your juice boxes as we head into MLS preview kind of material, and then we'll go over all the other stuff, top 50 clubs and all that kind of thing. So we'll do MLS review. We'll get you ready for everything. Then we'll go refs. Then we'll go top 50 clubs because there are a lot of MLS teams that are in that list of the top 50, and it's an interesting list. We'll get into that. So that's the rundown for the little bit, and then we'll get into what to watch, gossip, rumor, and innuendo, Premier League, all the other things before we say adieu and come back at noon and talk high school on Red Clay Friday. All right, juice boxes, as we know them, as of right now, with everything that is going on in Major League Soccer. So it is all countries. It's like, I just want all countries. I need to see my matches and give me my defaults. That's all I'm looking for. So we'll see what, come on, hit it. You hit it. And it's like, give it to me. You hit the button. That's what it's here for. Here we go. Okay. Atlanta United is in the matinee, and Toronto, that's all they've done. At home at BMO. And it is supposed to be wet. It is supposed to be rainy. It is supposed to be windy. It is supposed to be cold. So the temperature, hang on, let me check it because I was told that it was going to be in the 40s tomorrow, 40s Fahrenheit, not 40s centigrade, because if it was 40s centigrade, it would be an entirely different issue. But Toronto, Ontario, Canada, tomorrow, it is supposed to be in the 10-day. I don't want to sign into weather.com just yet. So tonight, low of 41, 3/4 of a chance of rain, cloudy, becoming windy with rain. Low of 41, winds east-northeast at 20 to 30. So east-northeast. So that's east-northeast. So, yeah, kind of, yeah. So along the water line of the Great Lakes. Tomorrow, 92% chance of rain at BMO, high of 45, so it's not going to get out of the 40s, and it is going to be winds at 21 miles an hour. So it could go one of two ways. It could go, and you're going to get a tailwind flying home. You could have a game of chaos where the ball is affected by the wind if it goes up into the air. Anything with loft can create issues. At least that's what it sounds like. And so what you're going to want is the wind at your back. So if Atlanta gets the toss, wind at your back, first 45, make it difficult for Toronto, and then just deal with it in the second 45. So you want the wind at your back as soon as possible in the attack. Winds of 21 miles an hour, temps in the 40s, 92% chance of rain. So it's going to be an ugly day. And they're flying up in it today, and it'll be in the 40s. And so that's your matinee. 92.9 the game and the Odyssey app. I don't know how much of a pregame there is going to be because of all of the other things that are going on in the sports world. So it looks like Abe and Maddie will have a pregame of some degree. Then it's going to be kickoff. So it is going to be full. Okay, so Tuesday is when the match for Open Cup is going to have no pre and post, I think. So coverage is normal, 92.9 the game. Noon Eastern, Abe and Maddie, 92.9 the game in the Odyssey app for Five Stripes Countdown. Kickoff at 1:10, and then full-time report after. So normal behavior, 92.9 the game, that's where it is. So 92.9 the game, noon pregame, Five Stripes Countdown, 1:10 kick, and post-game after. Numbers in the juice boxes. With the weather that we know, Toronto's a -118, draws a +270, and Atlanta United is a +320. Then at 1:30, which is 1:40, CF Montreal gets a matinee. They are a dog with NYCFC visiting. CF Montreal is a +175. NYC is a +150. Draw is a +260. The FS1, the Fox game, late in the afternoon, 4:55 kick. Minnesota hosting LAFC. Minnesota favored at a +150. This has not changed since yesterday when we talked about it with Nico Moreno from Pulso Sports and Sounder at Heart. Minnesota is favored at home at a +150. LAFC is a +175. Draw is a +250. Put a bookmark in that one. 7:40 kicks. Crew hosting Philadelphia. Crew is a -125. Philadelphia is a +333. Draw is a +275. DC and the purple team. DC is -120. Orlando is a +320 on the road, and the draw is a +270. See, we're getting into those ranges where it's still the same numbers. I still think they just throw spaghetti on a wall and talk to each other and go, yeah, let's just call it the same thing. FC Cincinnati and Red Bulls off of the 8-goal thriller that was there with Red Bulls. Red Bulls are a +290 on the road. They are a massive dog. Draw is a +330. FC Cincinnati is a -128. Messi and friends with an angry Messi and friends, frankly, won twice on the road, and they are at New Stadium taking on the Revs. The Revs are a +650. Messi and friends are favored, no surprise, at a -238. Your draw is a +409. 8:40 starts. Copa Tejas, Austin hosting Houston at Q2. Austin favored at a +160 after the blowout in San Jose. Houston is a +179, and your draw is a +250. Nashville hosting Charlotte. Nashville's a -149. Draws a +300, and Charlotte is a +409. Figure out what their formula is going to be. 8:40, Chicago hosting Sporting. Sporting is a +900. KCD and Christian Miles are on this one. Chicago is a -323, and the draw is a +500. 8:40, all caps hosting San Jose. San Jose is a dog. Getting the result that they got on the weekend, San Jose is a dog at a +175 heading to St. Louis. St. Louis City is a +145, and your draw is a +290. 9:40, San Diego FC hosting Portland. They are favored. I think probably one of the other juice box looks is red card by San Diego in a match, yes or no. San Diego a -133. Portland is a +333. Draws a +330. 10:40 kicks. Vancouver hosting Colorado at a -270. This is their last home match, I believe, before September. So they are trying to get as many people in the barn as possible. I think they already have 23,000 sold in this one. Colorado a +700, draws a +450. Seattle and Dallas. Seattle is a 10:40 start. Seattle -159, draws a +309. NFCD is a +450. That's the Evan Weston, Sasha Kleshtin. So it's Weston and Kleshtin. Kleshtin, Weston, Weston, Kleshtin. Sunday night soccer, 7:10. LAG hosting RSL. LAG is a +125. Draws a +280. And then RSL is a +200. So now let's get you into who is in the middle, and we'll get to do our ref research. So reffing down here. Toronto and Atlanta. Ismail Elfath is in the middle. Corey Parker, Kyle Atkins, your ARs. Pierre-Luc Lausier, who is in the middle for RSL and Messi and Friends. He's the fourth in this one for Toronto and Atlanta United. Kevin Stott is your VAR. Mike Kampmeinert joins him upstairs. Montreal and NYC. And I believe it is Jess Charman and Ian Joy who are on the call for this one. Remy Touchon is in the middle at 240. Andrew Bigelow, Jeff Swartzel are your ARs. Ricardo Montero is your fourth. Eunice Maracci and Jonathan Johnson are upstairs. Minnesota and LAFC. Guido Gonzalez Jr. is the man in the middle. Gerard Kader-Lebuy, Matthew Nelson are your ARs. Rosendo Mendoza is your fourth. Jorge Gonzalez is your VAR. Craig Lowry and Tom Supple are upstairs. 2 AVARs listed for that one. FC Cincinnati and Red Bull. Fotis Bazakis is in the middle at TQL. Felicia Mariscal and Mike Nickerson, your ARs. Edson Carvajal is your fourth. Michael Radchuk and Kevin Huey are upstairs. Columbus and Philly. Philip Dujic is the man in the middle. However, Jeremy Kiso and Matthew Rodman are your ARs. Sergei Demyanchuk is your fourth. Kevin Terry Jr., Jonathan Johnson are upstairs. DC and Orlando. Chris Penso is in the middle. Ryan Graves and Ben Pilgrim, your ARs. Nabil Ben Salah is your fourth. Caroline Chenard and Jeff Mushik are upstairs. Messi and Friends and the Revs at New Stadium. Rubiel Vasquez is the man in the middle. Nick Uranga, Jose De Silva, your ARs. Marcus de Oliveira is your fourth. Lucas Zapala and Tom Supple are upstairs. Austin and Houston, Q2. Alexis De Silva is the man in the middle. Brian Poschel, Eduardo Jeff, your ARs. Armando Villarreal is your fourth. Kevin Stott and Mike Kampmeinert are upstairs, so Kampmeinert does the daily double. Chicago and Sporting, Brandon Stevis is in the middle. Ian McKay, Corey Richardson, your AR. Sergi Boyko is your fourth. Edvin Jurasevich and Fabio Tovar are upstairs. And as the way that this goes, holy crap, we've got a surprise. And she's all jacked up about it. I was wondering where she was. Jessica Charman, where the heck are you?
At my house.
Okay.
I saw your email. I was like,
And she froze. Of course she did. We'll see what's happening here with and I'm going to say this right now. The madness that is going on with phones.
did you kick me out? What just
No,
happened?
no, the phones for some silly reason the phones freeze, and
Okay.
I don't know why. And it has to do, I think, with being encased in concrete or whatever, and all the things. But no, I just wanted to get a quick preview. When are you heading north?
I got a 3:30 flight, and right now I'm number 1 on the upgrade.
And she froze. Of course she did. This is annoying. This is truly annoying. And I'm going to put Jess down. So hang on. So I'm going to find out what it was what did they tell me? So this is when you're in a phone. Hang on. So what I'm going to do is, so Jess is number 1 with a bullet to get the upgrade. And let's see. So it is Android use Chrome, iOS use Safari. So that's what they're saying. So I got to do this. So I'm going to text Jess, and we'll see if we can bring Jess along here and find out what's going on. And so let me do that, and let me text her really quickly and find out what is going on. Runs until 11:00-ish. So, yeah. Okay, so hang on. Okay, so there we go. All right, let's try this. Because what I was going to
I'm
do.
on my tablet now.
Okay,
It's going to be better.
I hope, because
this camera is weird. Why am I like?
Why are you fish-eyed? I don't know.
Hey.
Yeah, so I couldn't tell you. So I just wanted to check to see what study hall was like and when you're heading north and all that. So you're number 1 on the upgrade list.
Yes, so fingers crossed for 2 spots, and because it's Montreal, fun fact, it's over 800 miles, which means you'd get a meal if you go into first class. So fingers crossed. These are the things you learn when you travel way too much. Well, this is amazing, this game, because number 1, I did New York City midweek. So quick turnaround to very similar players. Feel very comfortable with like player identification of New York City storylines. I've had like two very different New York City games this season in terms of the 5-0 drubbing of Orlando with the Maxime Crepeau handball red card, which I'm still so proud of how well I called that moment, knowing right away. I know I know Chris Rivet at the Pro was very proud of how I handled that, so that was cool.
He stepped outside the 14, Jess. That's
Oh
what it
my
is.
gosh. The thing is, right, it's so mad because even Matt Freese and Roman Celentano came close in the game because it's not even like I know it's 18 yards,
Yeah,
but
is
as a
it?
goalkeeper, what happens is it comes out quicker at you. It
Mhm.
comes up to you quicker because the move, and that's the other thing that's so hard about those broadcasts at Yankee because you can't show a replay because you show a replay and next thing you know, the ball's literally on the opposite side of the field that quickly. So
Mhm.
that was interesting. Yeah, Montreal, new interim manager. Last game I had for Montreal led to the firing of
Donadell, yeah.
yeah, we've had Ian and I seem to be cut. Did the last game before Oscar Parejo was fired. We did the last game before a sporting director was fired. Last game before, yeah. So coaches, sorry, we're not the problem. I promise. It's just bad timing. It's just bad timing. I think it's gonna be a great game though. I'm really excited. I think for New York City, it's hard for them to not have one eye on the Red Bull New York Open Cup game a little bit. I
Mhm.
mean, I was shocked 7 games in the month of April, averages out a game every 3 days, which is fascinating. They don't have the deepest squad. Nico Fernandez Macau is amazing. I know that he's not a number 9, but I love how he plays. I also love that he wears bright red boots because it's very obvious it's Nico Fernandez Macau. I hope that Maxi Morales is wearing black gloves as well because that was how I could tell it was Lil Maxi as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like how New York City plays. They just can't put together a full 90-minute performance like you saw against Charlotte. I mean, battered Charlotte FC in a lot of ways, and then Charlotte's able to win. And then Montreal, who knows what you get? I mean, they're good against the Red Bulls, that's for sure. I mean, they can beat the Red Bulls, but can they beat anyone else is going to be the big question. So, shout out Matty Longstaff, who I think is one of the funniest, personalities out there, and Prince Owusu does some amazing things and then does some crazy things. So that's going to be interesting. Which Prince Owusu moments will we see in this game?
Yes. And so it's you and Ian Joy for this one?
Yes, it is I and Ian. I had Laurie midweek, a little
And you hurt her hand. What was up with that?
Laurie wanted to do the handshake. I mean, it was Laurie's handshake. She does it with everybody. I guess when she works with Witty and when she works with Cal, they're a little bit more gentle. But if we're going to do a handshake, I feel like you can tell a lot. Don't they talk about you can tell a lot about someone from their handshake?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you also can tell who the keepers are because their hands are probably a little harder challenged.
Yeah, and a little bit more calloused, right? A little bit more calloused, a little harder, but
okay.
we should see.
I just wanted to check in and see how you were doing.
Yeah, tired. I mean, blessed but tired. What have I got next? Montreal. Next week's gonna be crazy. Next week I've got Boston for New England, Charlotte. So back on the call for Charlotte FC, which will be cool. And I've done New England before. I should say Foxborough, really. It's not really Boston. Foxborough. And then from there, straight at 7 a.m. on a flight down to Fort Lauderdale to do an NWSL game and then fly home. And then also attend my Hall of Fame induction.
Yes.
Remotely. I will be attending remotely because it is on the gate. You know what? It's okay because one of the main reasons I'm in this Hall of Fame is because of doing these games. So it kind of feels serendipitous and small world. We can do it over Zoom and then I'll pick up my my Hall of Fame blazer.
Really?
Yeah.
Please tell me is it in the blue or in the orange?
It's like a navy. It's a navy with like maybe some trim. I don't know. I want to see it and I'll figure out an event to wear it to that doesn't make me look like too much of a twit.
And for those that may not know, she's being inducted into the Clayton State University Hall of Fame. So Hall of Famer Jessica Charman. That's how many times can we sit there and go, yeah, we know a Hall of Famer, and it's because you're going into a Hall of Fame.
Do you know how old that makes? Like, I was like, aren't I too young to be in a Hall of Fame? But do you know what I mean? Like, you think Hall of Fame and you think,
700 years old, and no.
So who else has visited today? Have you had anyone else visit from my gang?
Yeah. Well, Evan Weston was in before you. And then
Okay.
Michael Parkhurst was in before.
What's
you.
Evan on? What's Evan on?
Evan is doing the Jesus Ferreira Paul Arriola Memorial Classic. He and Sasha
Wow.
are doing Seattle and Dallas.
That's gonna be fun.
And there is a vicious rumor that someone else might be joining between now and the end of the show, because he texted me at 10:25 and wanted to know how long we were going. He says, what time does your show run until today? Asking for a friend. So I would imagine that since you have identified yourself as JC, the individual that could identify themselves as DK might be joining from an airport.
Ah, yes. Okay.
So it might be DK joining us, depending on if he can get into a Delta class or sit in a concourse somewhere and discuss things. So that is a vicious rumor, unconfirmed, but he has the desire to come in and crash here in the final
We
half
all
hour.
have the desire to crash. We love you, John Nelson. And then we got GHSA stuff coming up. I mean, shout out Trinity Christian School. My girls were able to beat Fellowship yesterday in a crazy 3-2 game, and we'll have to go to Savannah Country Day on Thursday. So, oh, you've already done it.
Got the brackets right here.
Yeah, well, shout out to the bracket maker that is making us go to Savannah on a weekday. I mean,
And
I didn't
Savannah
throw that in. Yeah.
Savannah Country Day is the 7 seed. Trinity Christian is the 10. So you're going to Savannah Country Day on April 30, unless the two schools come up
And
with
wait, what day are we going? On the Thursday?
allegedly the 30th, unless the two schools sit there and reschedule on their own and agree to it.
What day is the 30th?
So if today is, so it's a week from yesterday. So Thursday.
Okay, Thursday. Okay.
Yeah.
And then if we were to beat Savannah Country Day, who do we meet? The winner of which game?
Probably Wesleyan, who is the number 2 ranked team in private on the girls' side, and that would be May the 4th.
And they play who, Wesleyan?
Wesleyan gets the winner of the 18-15 Walker and Aquinas. But Wesleyan is one of the top teams in the state.
Yes.
They are ranked.
Wesleyan are very good.
Yeah, they are number 2, and they are 2 in the power rankings, and they're number 2 in your hearts as well in the rankings too. So they are rankings and power rankings. They are number 2. So that you're low right in the brackets as we fill them out in pen. That's your path right now. Savannah Country Day, and then probably Wesleyan, unless something happens to Wesleyan that we don't.
Where is Wesleyan? North Atlanta?
It's Norcross.
Okay.
Literally right across the street from Norcross High School. So if you go up Peachtree Industrial and then you bank left on 141 and you're heading toward Norcross High School, it's like right there.
It's going to be a fun drive on a Monday night, but we got to get through Savannah first. So let's see how that goes. All right, Johnny boy. Love you as always.
Yep. And that's what 10:30s are for. Get on your flight and be safe and have a great call with Ian. We got to get Ian on.
2:30 p.m. 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Let's go. Early kick.
The early kicks. All these Canadian matinees, they're kind of messing with people's heads. But except the fact that you get to come out early. But yeah, we got to have you and Ian come on here and yell at each other for 20 minutes.
Hey, we don't yell. I just tell them off sometimes, but that's okay.
It's elevated enthusiasm is what it is.
Amen, which is what you need. All right, Johnny, take care.
All right, be
Thank
safe.
you. If I can figure out how to exit.
Well, I'm going to exit you. How about this? So there goes Jess, and then there goes Jess. So there she goes. All right. So Jess Charman comes in and visits. And yes, basically, yes, Abby. If you want to have somebody fired, have Jess and Ian call the match. Donadell, Ian Joy, Donadell, and Pareja. And let's see. So if they're doing Montreal and, well, I mean, it's I don't know if they would. Yeah, no, you're not going to fire Pascal Janssen. So I think they might be safe this week, unless it's Montreal that has their interim dismissed as we go. So, it's just one of those things. All right. So let me. Let's see that and. Let's see. So I'm going back and forth with this individual that wished to come in and crash. So, all right. So where was I? We were doing folks in the middle. Chicago Fire, Kansas City. Brandon Stevis in the middle. Ian McKay, Corey Richardson, your AR. Sergi Boyko is your 4th. Edvin Jurasevich and Fabio Tovar are upstairs. Nashville and Charlotte. Joe Dickerson, man in the middle. Nick Balser, Logan Brown, your ARs. Jair Marufo is your 4th. Jorge Gonzalez and Craig Lowry are upstairs. St. Louis City and San Jose. Drew Fisher's in the middle. Michael Barweg and Liaz Arfa, your ARs. Joe Surgan is your 4th. Daniel Radford and Rhett Hamill are upstairs. San Diego and Portland at the Murph Dragon. John Freeman's the man in the middle, no relation. Corey Rockwell, Ben Regal, your ARs. Alan Chapman is your 4th. Eunice Maracci and Megan Mullen are upstairs. Seattle and Dallas, Tori Penso, Brooke Mayo, Catherine Nesbitt. Ref and ARs, Matt Thompson, Greg Dopka. Matt Thompson's your fourth. Greg Dopka and Kevin Hewitt are upstairs. Vancouver and Colorado, Lorenzo Hernandez is in the middle. Jeffrey Greason, Stephen McGonigal, your ARs. Carly Shaw McLaren is your fourth. Carol Ann Chenard and Tom Supple are upstairs. LAG and RSL are for Sunday Night Soccer. Victor Rivas is the man in the middle. Chris Elliott is your ARs. Chris Elliott, Matthew Schwartz are your ARs. Elahio Adegin is your fourth. Edvin Jurasevich and Fabio Tovar are upstairs. Now, let's get into the ref numbers. Ismail Elfath is the gentleman that we are pursuing information on. So, who scored? And it is the referee statistics that we are looking at for Ismail Elfath. Ismail Elfath is one of the individuals that is going to be in the World Cup. And he will be one of the folks in the middle. So the referee statistics, oh my gosh, it went to 2026. I don't believe it. Okay, so Ismail Elfath, in fouls per match, he's called 5 matches this season in the middle. And so let's break them all down. Ismail Elfath is, where is he? He is bottom half in fouls called. And so nothing like pop-up windows preventing you from doing things. So Ismail Elfath, as we had Alan Chapman last week, Ismail Elfath is 24th out of 29 at 22.6. And so Alan Chapman we had last time out at 29th of 29. Ismail Elfath, 24th of 29, and he is at 22.6. Fouls per tackle, he was at 0.93, so that would put him 7th. So it is fouls per tackle. He is 7th in the league at 0.93, tied with Fotis Bazakis. He has awarded 1 penalty in 5 matches this season. Yellows per match is 3.4 on average, which puts him 20th of 29, so lower third, basically. And then you have yellows that have been awarded this season. And Ismail Elfath, middle of the pack, 17 yellows in 5 games. He's 13th of 29, and he has the 1 red. So if we were to look at the numbers, Ismail Elfath, once again, not calling a whole lot of fouls. It's going to be a rainy, nasty, wet day. But fouls per tackle, he's top 10. And he has awarded 1 penalty in 5 matches so far this year. And so that's the numbers that are there. So yellows, middle of the pack, if I remember correctly. So yellows, middle of the pack at 3.4, 20th of 29. So lower third. So lower third in yellow cards. Lower 20, so he's 24th of 29 in fouls, so not a lot of fouls called. Lower third in yellow cards, 1 penalty in 5 matches, and so that's kind of where we are with Ismail Elfath on a rainy, nasty day that is anticipated in Toronto, and we will see if he continues to go with type here. So that's the rundown with Ismail Elfath and what to anticipate from him. Now, gossip, rumor, and innuendo. What to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. Once again, at noon Eastern, it's going to be the college program. Yeah, the college program. Goodness gracious. It's going to be the high school program. It's Red Clay Friday, Red Clay Soccer Report. We're going to go over the brackets from yesterday, go over the brackets today. This is the last day of the opening round. And we're going to have the head coach for Hart County's boys and girls teams, Ben Hudson, joining us at 12:30 to break down everything that is associated with the Hart County program. They've had a great season on the boys and the girls side. They are they're having a lot of firsts this year. First home matches for the boys and girls in the playoffs happen this season. So we'll catch up with Coach Hudson at 12:30 after we go through brackets and matchups and all the things to get you into Red Clay weekend. And remember, the groundbreaking for the NWSL Atlanta franchise is going to be at 2 o'clock. We'll have coverage of that on the network, so set your notifications, and all of the social medias are Soccer Down Here, and you can follow and keep up with what's going on there. All right, so gossip, rumor, and innuendo. Let's see. The other news that's been going on, Benfica's Prestiani got a 6-match ban for his conduct against Vinicius Jr. That came from UEFA, and that was from the Champions League match back in February. 3 of the matches suspended for a 2-year period. Ban also includes the one match Prestiani served as a provisional suspension in February. So unless he triggers the suspended 3-match ban, he's actually only sidelined for 2 other matches. So that's the logistics that is attached there. Claudio Ranieri is out as a Roma advisor amidst a spat with Gasparini. So you have that to keep an eye on if you are a fan of things in La Liga. Now, where's my gossip, rumor, and innuendo? We talked about the dismissal of Liam Rossignol and the contenders to take over in that gig. So now, transfer rumors. Trending rumors, as we call them. Manchester United considering making a move for Mickey van de Ven, targeting a left-footed center back, according to The Athletic. It's expected to attract plenty of interest this summer, regardless of whether or not the Spurs stay up or if they go into the championship. Liverpool also in the running. Sky is suggesting Manchester City pole position to sign Elliot Anderson from Nottingham Forest. Manchester United and Arsenal want to bring in the 23-year-old. There's an increasing belief, according to Sky, he'll be playing at the Etihad next season. The Athletic reports City are also considering Enzo Fernandez from Chelsea for a midfield role. Also, City looking at Jan Diomande from RB Leipzig. Bournemouth striker Junior Krupi looking to strengthen the attack, although the Diomande is also on the short list of Bayern Munich and Liverpool. Diomande's agents are already in talks with Liverpool and PSG, according to Bild. RB Leipzig value the 19-year-old's transfer at around €100 million, confident they can persuade him to stay in Germany for at least another year. United, City, Liverpool, Real Madrid, all exploring a €70 million deal to sign AC Milan winger Rafa Leao, according to the 4-letter paper. 25-year-old is unhappy that the Rossoneri look likely to miss out on Scudetto to rivals Internazionale, while Milan will be looking to offload top players to balance the books. However, the Portuguese international has not fallen out with Max Allegri, has not been offered to Barcelona, as been reported elsewhere. Juve frontrunners to sign Bernardo Silva, but a move to Arsenal or Chelsea hasn't been ruled out, according to Team Talk. Portuguese international is going to leave Etihad as a free agent in the summer after 9 years. Preference is to stay in Europe, despite lucrative offers from the league we don't talk about and Major League Soccer. In addition to Juve, interest from Inter, AC Milan, and Como, Benfica, and Monaco are also monitoring. Other rumors. Transfer of Cole Palmer could be valued at up to £130 million if they decide to let him leave in the summer, according to Football Insider. Jadon Sancho has communicated his willingness to rejoin Dortmund on a free once his loan at Aston Villa expires. That's from Sky Germany. Inter aren't confident that Barca can meet the €70 million valuation for the signing of Alessandro Bastoni. That's from Gazzetta dello Sport. The agent of John Stones has offered him to Juve in recent days. 2 Premier League clubs are also interested. That's from Nicola Schira. Atletico de Madrid considering signing Borussia Dortmund attacking midfielder Julian Brandt following the departure of Antoine Griezmann. That's according to Marca. Nicola Schira has AC Milan, Atletico de Madrid, Juve, and Napoli monitoring Lazio center back Mario Gila. An agreement in principle has been reached between Real Madrid and Vinicius Jr. for a new deal. Final details still need to be sorted. That's from Florian Plettenberg. Atalanta and Atleti struggling to reach an agreement regarding the transfer of Ederson and the commissions involved. That's from Matteo Moretto. Nicola Schira, Arsenal, sent a scout to watch Nicola Trasoldi in Club Brugge's 4-2 win against Anderlecht. Sporting director Deco for Barca met with Real Sociedad center back John Martin's agent Iñaki Ibanez in an informal meeting to inquire about his situation. That's from Sport. Spurs open to permanently signing midfielder João Palhinha from Bayern Munich. They'll want to renegotiate the deal, according to Sky Germany. James Trafford, TalkSport, Villa, Newcastle, Spurs, all interested. Gazzetta dello Sport. Juve considering a move for AC Milan midfielder Ardon Jashari after trying to sign him last summer. That's from Gazzetta. Bournemouth attacking midfielder Marcus Tavernier, high on Newcastle's short list ahead of the summer. That's from Team Talk. Subsequently, also with Bournemouth, Marcus Senesi is interested in Spurs if they stay up. Internazionale have reached a draft agreement with Tariq Muharremovic, and negotiations are now underway with Sassuolo. That is from Gazzetta dello Sport. Now, juice boxes in the Premier League. Let's get there, then we'll do what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it, and we'll see if DK can make it by the time we get off the air. Now, Premier League. Today, 3 o'clock, Sunderland a slight favorite at home to Nottingham Forest at a plus 170. Nottingham Forest is a plus 175. Poppy Miller's probably biting her nails. Tomorrow, 5 games. Fulham, dog at home, slight to Aston Villa at a plus 170. Villa is a plus 150. Liverpool at 10 o'clock, 3 games, minus 200 against Happy to Be Here FC, who's a plus 550, and Crystal Palace. West Ham favored at home at a plus 137, hosting Everton. Wolves, big underdog to Spurs at the Molineux, considering that Wolves has been relegated. Everybody's like, yeah, they're just going to kind of toss it in. Spurs needs the win badly. We'll go into the relegation fight in a second. They're a minus 143 at the Molineux. Wolves are a plus 370. Arsenal minus 213 in the afternoon, hosting Newcastle at their joint. And so Arsenal at the Emirates is a minus 213. Newcastle a plus 550. Draws a plus 375. And then Monday Night Football, since Sunday is FA Cup, Manchester United minus 118 hosting Brentford. Brentford a plus 300. That's Monday Night Football. So speaking of, it is FA Cup, and that is tomorrow Manchester City hosting Southampton at a minus 435. Southampton is a plus 1,000. And then Sunday, Chelsea and Leeds at 10 o'clock in the morning. Chelsea's a plus 110. Leeds is a plus 240. 90-minute draw is a plus 260. I was going to go over the standings in the Premier League at the bottom. And Abby, as always, thanks to you for dropping in, as always. So standings in the Premier League, the relegation fight. This is what we got to get into here. And we'll look at the other divisions as we're taking a peek. Right now, Wolves down 17 points. Burnley have 4 matches to go, and that would be 32 points. They were relegated. They've lost 4 in a row, with especially the loss to Manchester City. Burnley going down. 1 spot left. 3 teams separated by 5 points. Spurs right now are in the relegation zone. They've lost 3 of 5, 2 points in 5 matches. They've lost 16 of 33 this year. They're at 31 points. West Ham is 2 points above them, same number of matches. West Ham has hit the one column each in their last 3. 33 points, 2 points above the relegation zone. Nottingham Forest is unbeaten in 5. They've won 2 of 3, and they're at 36 points, 5 points clear of the relegation zone. All 3 of those teams have 5 matches to go in the regular season. So the magic number really is what? So 3, 5, 38, 5, 15. So 46 points if you run the table, and you go from there. In the championship, checking the standings, Leicester is going down to League One, and also going down is in Sheffield Wednesday. That much we know. Oxford United looks like they might be the one going down. 2 matches left. They are right now alive on goal difference. If they do not match Charlton Athletics result on the weekend, you know the 3 teams that are going down. But Oxford United right now is hanging in on goal difference only. But once again, if they do not match the result of Charlton Athletic on the weekend, Oxford United goes down, and that's what it looks like in the championship. Now, in the promotion race in the playoffs, we know Coventry is in. We know that Coventry is being promoted. And if anybody sees John Nason, give him a big old hug. So here's right now the rundown with a handful of matches to go. Ipswich has 1 match in hand, and they are tied with Millwall, but they are well ahead on goal difference. So Ipswich match in hand, 10 points behind Coventry, and they have 4 matches to go. So 3, 4, 5, and 6 right now all have 4 matches left, and 2 matches left. Sorry. So it's 46, not 48. So 2 matches to go. And right now it is literally Ipswich and Millwall trying to figure out who can be the second automatically promoted team. Millwall right now is the 3, 79 points behind on goal difference. Southampton is unbeaten in 5. They're at 76. Middlesbrough is hiccuping right now. They've hit each column once in their last 3. They're at 76 as well, behind on goal difference by 3 goals. Wrexham is at 70 points right now. They've won 2 in a row, and they are ahead of Hull on goal difference. So Hull has only drawn 4 of their last 5. No wins. They're 0-1 and 4 in their last 5. Wrexham, with their win in the midweek over Oxford, puts them in the automatic in the promotion playoff spot where they would play Millwall if the season ended today. But 2 matches to go in the championship. Play-in is Millwall, Southampton, Middlesbrough, Wrexham. Ipswich has a match in hand, and they're in the driver's seat for the second automatic promotion spot. Now, League One, as we're rolling through everything here, it is, once again, handful of matches to go in their season. We'll get to what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it coming up in just a bit, and we will say adieu to you until noon. 2 matches to go or 3, depending on certain situations. Now, Northampton is going down. Port Vale is going down. Rotherham is going down. Now, that leaves 1 slot left, and there are 5 teams separated by 4 points with 2 matches to go. Peterborough United and Burton, they are at 52 points. Leyton Orient is at 51. They've lost 3 of 4. AFC Wimbledon, yes, I know. They've lost 5 in a row. They're at 50 points, and they're the one that's in danger with 2 matches to go. AFC Wimbledon and Exeter right now is in the drop zone at 48 points. They are unbeaten in their last 3 to get to this situation. AFC Wimbledon has Wigan, and Wigan is 6 points above them, but Wigan lost last time out, so we'll see what happens. So Wigan is, unbeaten in their last 5, and they're taking on AFC Wimbledon at Wigan on Saturday. And then League 2, remember, it's 4 promotion spots from League 2 up to League 1, and then you have those that will be dropping. Right now, promotion spots in League 2 up to League 1, keeping an eye on, once again, with 1 or 2 matches to go. 2 teams are dropped, and 1 team and 4 teams go in. Bromley in, MK Dons, I can't believe I just mentioned them by name. So the Carpetbaggers, they might be in, but they still have issues to take care of because they're only 4 points above Cambridge United in the playoffs. Salford City has 1 match to go. They are at 80 points, so they need to win and get some help if they're going to be the 3rd automatically promoted team. Right now, for the promotion playoff, it's 5 teams for 4 spots separated by 5 points. So that is Championship, League 1, League 2, and the Premier League. All right. Now, let's get into what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. And I just completely and totally blew past the 50 top teams, didn't I? Hopefully we'll catch up with our friend Kurt Badenhausen, and we can catch up with him on the week and catch up with his thoughts about the Sportico list and what happened with a lot of the teams in Major League Soccer. 19 of the top 50 are Major League Soccer. So that's really good stuff there. Soccer on TV, NWSL resumes tonight. It is the Polish League on BN at noon, Ligue 1 at 2:45, and you can get the Polish League, the French League, and the Turkish League at fntz.co/soccer down here, because you get all the BNs. You get Tigo Sports, you get CATV, you get Copa Argentina, Libertadores, Sudamericana, everything in Africa. You get the CAF, you get Champions League, all the things and all the BNs. You get those. You get CDO out of Chile. You get TVV out of Venezuela if you want. And you also get Liga 1 Max Pro out of Peru and TEC from Argentina, a lot of the A and B divisions for a lot of the other countries that are going on in South America. FS2 has the Canadian Premier League at 7. It is USA with Sunderland and Nottingham Forest at 3. It is BN Espanol simulcasting what's going on. ESPN Deportes has La Liga at 3 o'clock. Fox Deportes Serie A at 2:45. 2 to NA, Puebla and Querétaro at 11. ESPN Plus has the A-League early this morning. Bundesliga, Drei Bundesliga at 1, and La Liga with Real Madrid and Real Betis at 3 o'clock. Fox O&E has Serie A and the Canadian Premier League simulcast. MLSNextPro.com and OneFootball, TFC2 and NYCFC2 at York University and York Lions Stadium. That's at 7 o'clock. Paramount Plus, Serie A, English Championship, Leicester and Millwall at 3. Leicester can be a spoiler for Millwall. Women's side, it is Fox Deportes, Liga MX, Guadalajara, Toluca at 9, Fox O&E simulcasting. Prime has NWSL, as does Victory Plus. Victory Plus Racing Louisville and Orlando at 5:30. And then Prime Video, Washington and Kansas City Current is at 8 o'clock. Tomorrow, just so you know, BN has Ligue 1 triple header. CBS Sports Network Championship at 7:30. USL Cup at 7, Hartford and Rhode Island. Liga MX doubleheader, Toluca Leon, America and Atlas. Minnesota LAFC's on Big FOX at 4:55. NBCSN has 2 matches available for you in the Premier League at 10 o'clock. USA, Fulham at 7:30, Wolves at 10. BN Espanol simulcasting. ESPN Deportes triple header La Liga, Fox Deportes, Serie A, MLS, doubleheader Liga MX. Telemundo, Sábado Futbolero, 7, 9, and 11. 2 to NA has Pachuca Pumas, Toluca Leon, America and Atlas. So it's dueling triple headers, Telemundo and 2 to NA, 7, 9, and 11. Universo, dayside triple header in the Premier League, Nightside simulcasting of Liga MX, Univision simulcasting Liga MX, Apple TV, all the matchups that are going on in Major League Soccer, ESPN Plus, A-League, Eredivisie, FA Cup, Bundesliga, Drei Bundesliga, La Liga 2, USL Cup, has all those matchups. Fox O&E has Canadian Premier League, Serie A, Serie B, MLS, doubleheader Liga MX, Fox Soccer Plus, Canadian Premier League, Serie B, One Football, MLSNextPro.com has Next Pro, Core and Crown Legacy at 6, Paramount Plus, English Championship, League One, Serie A, Scottish Premiership, Peacock has the Premier League with 2 matches, Liga MX at 9, Women, Big CBS, Gotham and Bay at 1 o'clock, CBS Sports Network, Champions League at 12:15 on the women's side, Ion doubleheader in WSL, ESPN Deportes, Women's Champions League at 12:15, ESPN Plus, Women's Super League at 7, Northern Super League begins their season 7 o'clock Saturday night, Fox Soccer Plus, Serie A, NWSL Plus, that's Houston and North Carolina Courage, Paramount Plus, NWSL simulcast Gotham and Bay, and Champions League. Peacock has the Super League, 10, 7, and 7:30, and that gets you into Sunday. Goodness gracious. Whew. All right. Before we go, Sportico, really quickly. Just want to, we'll grab our Sportico folks hopefully early part of next week. Real Madrid, the most valuable club on the planet, at $7.7 billion, revenue of $1.308 billion. Now, the most valuable MLS franchise is Messi and Friends at 16. Then you have LAFC at 17, LA Galaxy at 18. Atlanta United is worth $1.14 billion. They are at 19 on last year's revenue of $117 million. Then it's NYCFC at 20. It is Seattle at 24, Austin 25. It is Crew at 29, Cincinnati at 31, San Diego 33, Charlotte 34, DC, Portland, Philadelphia get you to 38. Toronto's 39, tied with Fulham into the 40s. Then it's the Fire at 45, Sporting Kansas City at 46, St. Louis City SC at 49. And that's the list. Like I said, we'll catch up with our friends from Sportico early part of next week, and we will break it all down for you in depth then. So, looks like Devin Kerr got caught in the airport. But that's another go-around of SDH AM. It's another week. It's been a very, very busy week. We had Jessica Charman come parachuting in. Evan Weston, Jess Charman, Nino, Nico, Footy Prime, the survey about the most expensive cities for the World Cup from our friends at, what was it? It was, where was it? It was, oh, shoot, I can't remember. So where's my survey? Hang on, 2026 World Cup survey. It's all just blending together. Oh, upgraded points. Upgraded points was where it was. So our friends from Upgraded Points, it was Miguel Gallardo, Margaret Fleming from Front Office Soccer. It was Mike Petit from Callaway, KCD, Jacob Haygood from Mary Persons. It was Abe. It was Bart. It was all over the place. And that's a week. We'll be back in about 45 minutes to go through everything going on in the high school action. And joining us will be the head coach of Hart County's boys and girls teams, Ben Hudson. And he'll break it all down for us about what's going on special times up there in Hartwell here in 2026. So because it is the end of the week, and let me say hi to everybody before we get out of here. Abby was very, very busy this morning. Dell, good to see you as always. And it was, let's see. So if it was Dell and Abby and Ricky and David and Lokeville and Abby, and that'll do. So it was great to have everybody in the Twitch pitch. Great to have all of you out here as always. And it's always great to be able to do this. We could not do this without you on a daily basis. So since it is a Friday and it is the end of another week of SDH AM, that means one thing and one thing only, that we wrap up the show as only we wrap up the show and we wrap up the week, even though we are going to have the high school programming coming up in 45 minutes. Means one thing and one thing only. Mucho Platiel, play it safe. See you in 45. We'll see you again over the weekend, and then again here on Monday at 9:05 on SDH AM. We'll see you in a bit.
The war was on. The keys on the typewriter had sharp points that kept sticking into our fingers. The dictating equipment started asking us questions, and our beepers sent electric shocks just through our body like a cattle prod. Out in the warehouse, the trucks kept banging into the docks, not even thinking about stopping. Oh, our frail were strapped to the chairs, and our chairs were chained to the desks. Our pleas for justice were ignored, and the end seemed near. But we busted our slave drivers' little bitty balls. We've charged out of their brick fortress, the streets of